I'm here with Andrea Reid from Pollinator Pathways. Andrea, tell us what Pollinator Pathways are all about.
So I started in university and was doing a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture degree at Unitec, and was really interested in pollinators and how they could move around the city and how we as landscape architects could design these sorts of spaces better so that our pollinators can travel better. And I was specifically interested in pollinators because things like our birds and bees and lizards and butterflies, they all contribute to pollinating our food sources. And a lot of people forget that. They go, oh, yeah, I'll just go and buy some food from the shop. You don't really think where it comes from. We're starting to become more aware and looking into community gardens and doing that sort of thing within our cities. But then you've got to remember, okay, so we're putting in all of these community gardens, yet we're not thinking about what's pollinating those gardens so that it will all work. So what I wanted to focus on was how I could start linking up those pollinators and helping them to travel within these urban areas.
So why are pollinator paths so important in Auckland right now?
Well, it's really important right now because we're noticing more and more worldwide how the honeybees are really struggling because of, you've probably heard of all the things like Varroa mite is killing them and all the pesticides that are being used are starting to kill them. And another big one is the loss of habitat. And we really don't think about it when we design things. We go, oh yeah, we'll just chuck a few trees in, a few plants in, we'll be, she'll be right. But the thing is getting the right sort of plants that's really good for our biodiversity and getting in the right native plants in there for our native pollinators, which are often forgotten about, because the honeybee gets all this attention because it's the one that's mainly used because it's the easiest to cultivate, because you can put it into hives and you can transport it around. Whereas you can do that with other pollinators, but it's not as effective, and you also don't get the byproduct of honey, so it doesn't earn quite as much money, so there's not as much of a interest there. But because honeybees are struggling so much and we still really need pollination, it's really crucial to look at what all of our other pollinators do and how they contribute to that system.
So what's the next step for pollinator paths?
What we are looking at is how to make those pollinator hubs into a pollinator pathway. So what we want to do is contact all of the people who live along the streets between Grayland Park, Hakanoa Reserve and Cox's Bay Reserve, and see if they would be interested in looking after their own little patch of pollinator path planting outside their house. So we want to utilise the front berms, but more what we're proposing is just low-growing wildflowers or something like that are just as easy to maintain as mowing your lawn every second week. You can just go out and pluck a few weeds and you've got beautiful flowers outside. So that's our proposition for next step.